The Sensex and the Nifty are both off the day's low as auto stocks gain. The Nifty PSU Bank falls nearly 1%, but broader markets outperform. Most sectoral indices barring FMCG and auto are in the red. Oil and gas off lows but still remain the day's top loser. Tata Coffee and Tata Consumers shares surged to life highs after announcing the effective date of merger as January 1st. Kalpataru projects surges over 9% on winning international orders worth 3,244 crore rupees. Hello and welcome. You're watching Market IQ. I am Pallavi Nahata. On the show, we talk about global and national headlines along with the markets update. Now, before we move on, let's take a quick look at where markets are currently. The Nifty 50 as well as the Sensex have both snapped their 5-day winning streak. They're both down by roughly a little less than a 0.25%. The Nifty IT, the Nifty Bank, Nifty Realty, all in the red. While broader markets continue to outperform, the Nifty Mid-Cap 100 is in the green, up by almost about 0.5%. Let's have a look at the Nifty 50 constituents and the top losers and gainers. BPCL, Infosys, Kotak Mahindra Bank, NTPC, SBI, all among the top losers of the day. BPCL leads. It's currently down by almost 3%, while Infosys, Kotak Mahindra Bank and NTPC down roughly by about 1.5%. So that's largely OMCs as well as banks that are in the red. Now moving to the gainers, Tata Motors, the clear gainer today. It's up by over 4%, while Tata Consumer and Tata Steel up by roughly about 1 to 2%. That's on the markets check. Now, moving on. Kalpataru projects surge over 9% on winning international orders worth 3,244 crore rupees. We spoke to Amit Uplenchwar, who's director at the company, on order book execution and industry trends. Let's listen in.
Our order book currently, the way the split stands, is roughly 60% is coming from domestic markets and 40% is coming from international markets. Increasingly, we want to take our other verticals and segments overseas, as I mentioned to you a little while ago, and hopefully we should balance this to 50-50 in the next 12 to 24 months.
Speculation and expectations of a retail fuel price cut are doing the rounds. Is this going to happen? Will it be a New Year gift from the government to the people, or is it currently all hearsay? Let's have a look. We have Vikas joining us to share what's the latest on that.
The speculation has been doing the rounds for quite some time now, but for time being it has been put to rest by two ministries that NDTV Profit spoke to. They have denied that anything is being worked out soon, but given the kind of profitability that the OMCs have seen in the last 6 months or 7 months, the combined profit has increased to almost 58,000 crore for them. So that has given the speculation to the market, with elections around the corner, that government may look at cutting the retail fuel prices by almost 8 to 10 rupees. But the speculation is also based on a fact that the crude oil prices have dropped significantly. The average in FY22 or calendar year 22 was $93 per barrel, which has come down to almost $77 per barrel. Also, if we look at India's crude basket, that is close to $74 per barrel. So that gives enough headroom to the government closer to the election to cut the fuel prices, which will also have a higher recall value and may help the people, common people who had been facing the brunt of this high price. Although crude prices fell down, the retail fuel prices were not cut since last 19 months. If it happens anytime soon, so it will be after May last year, when government had cut the excise duty by 8 rupees and 6 rupees on petrol and diesel respectively. So that is what is being expected. So this is as of now a speculation, but let's see, there may be something like, being worked out with the government.
Thanks a lot for that. So far it currently does seem to be hearsay, and the timing of the fuel price cuts remains, to be seen. Moving on, sugar companies are buzzing today. Sources to NDTV Profit have indicated that oil marketing companies have increased the price of ethanol from C-heavy molasses by 14% to 56 rupees a litre. For ethanol supply year 2023-24, Atul Chaturvedi, Executive Chairman of Renuka Sugars, spoke to us about this earlier. Listen in.
It is definitely going to benefit the industry, because C molasses at around 49 rupees or thereabouts per litre was not making too much of a sense. And I'm sure the marketing companies probably realized that if they need to give some incentive, as it is, the cane juice ethanol is practically banned, and B heavy was also banned. So it made definitely sense, and we were all expecting this announcement to come, because the industry has been in a dialogue with the government, and it makes sense for them to incentivize C. Otherwise, the whole program would have got scuttled a big time. But now with this announcement, probably, I think this year's blending ratio may get impacted only marginally, not big time. But definitely it is not going to be as much as what it was last year, for sure. So it's a welcome move from the government, for sure.
Well, if you're wondering why the RBI tightened the measures on consumer loans, the answer to that is in the Financial Stability Report that the banking regulator published last evening. My colleague Mimamsa joins us with the details. Mimamsa, tell us what the report says and what is the rationale the central bank gave for its previous measures.
Yeah, hi Pallavi. So the RBI in its Financial Stability Report that released yesterday has finally explained the rationale behind why they were so concerned about the unsecured, the growth in unsecured loans in the country. Now, this one of the reasons is that this year the risk profile of consumer credit borrowers has been downgraded more than the ones that have been upgraded. So that indicates that some buildup of risk in the segment. The RBI also noted that the share of personal loans that turned NPA within 12 months of origination, which is called vintage delinquency, that has been relatively higher. Now, if you give a number to it, 8.2% of borrowers, of personal loan borrowers in the banking system, those loans have turned an NPA within 12 months of origination. So that is a big number in the banking system, and it points at a declining underwriting standards practiced by the banks and NBFCs. Around 43% of all consumer loan borrowers had at least 3 live loan accounts at the time of origination. So when so that means that the last time that a consumer credit borrower took a loan, that was the 4th time that he did that. And 7.3% of customers who have a personal loan below rupees 50,000 had at least one overdue loan. So, and the RBI also pointed out that under the severe stress scenario going ahead, the gross NPA ratio of Indian banks may rise to 4.4% by the end of September 2024. Under the baseline scenario, which means the current conditions stay as it is, the bad debt ratio may remain at 3.1%, and under the medium stress scenario, the gross NPA ratio may rise to 3.6% by September 2024.
Well, there does appear to be a little bit of a stress building in the under 50,000 rupee loan segment. We'll continue watching out on what's happening on that front. Meanwhile, we'll slip into a short break and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. welcome back. You're watching Market IQ on NDTV Profit. Now, it was among the biggest news of the year, making big headlines across markets in the corporate sector as well. Opposition parties did try to latch on to the issue. Yes, we're talking about the fall and the rise of the Adani Group following the ambush from short seller Hindenburg and their allegations. The Adani Group withstood the shocks and restored confidence. The group signed off the year with renewed commitment to push growth. Vikas Sinha takes us through the remarkable year it's been for the group.
साल 2023 अदानी ग्रुप के लिए काफी एक्शन भरा रहा। इस पूरे साल के दौरान ग्रुप को लेकर कई खबरें आई। हम एक एक करके पूरी टाइमलाइन को देखेंगे कि कब कब क्या खबर आई और उस पर स्टॉक ने कैसे रिएक्ट किया। सबसे पहले 9 जनवरी 2023 जब अदानी ग्रुप का मार्केट कैप अपने हाईएस्ट लेवल पे था, यानी 19,41,000 करोड़ रुपए का मार्केट कैप था अदानी ग्रुप का 9 जनवरी 2023 को। इसके बाद 25 जनवरी को शॉर्ट सेलर हिंडनबर्ग की तरफ से एक रिपोर्ट आती है जिसमें अदानी ग्रुप पर कुछ एलिगेशंस लगाए जाते हैं। इस एलिगेशन के बाद ग्रुप के शेयरों में थोड़ी गिरावट देखने को मिलती है और मार्केट कैप घटकर 18,19,000 करोड़ रुपए पर आ जाता है। 25 जनवरी को ही ग्रुप की तरफ से यह कहा गया कि हमारे एफपीओ यानी हमारे फॉलो ऑन पब्लिक ऑफर को नुकसान पहुंचाने के लिए यह रिपोर्ट पब्लिश की गई है। इसके बाद 27 जनवरी को अदानी ग्रुप का $2.45 बिलियन का ये एफपीओ खुलता है। 28 जनवरी को ग्रुप ने यह कहा कि हमारे एफपीओ को लेकर जो प्लान है उसमें कोई बदलाव नहीं है। इसके बाद 29 जनवरी को अदानी ग्रुप की तरफ से 413 पेज का एक रिबटल पब्लिश किया जाता है जिसमें हिंडनबर्ग के आरोपों पर पॉइंट वाइज एक जवाब दिया गया है, जिससे बताया गया है कि ग्रुप पर लगाए गए आरोप कैसे सही नहीं हैं। इसके बाद 31 जनवरी को जो ये एफपीओ है, जो देश का सबसे बड़ा एफपीओ है, वो फुली सब्सक्राइब हो जाता है, यानी पूरी तरह भर जाता है 31 जनवरी 2023 को। फुली सब्सक्राइब होने के बावजूद अदानी ग्रुप ने 1 फरवरी को यह ऐलान किया कि वो एफपीओ को वापस ले रहे हैं। अदानी ग्रुप के चेयरमैन गौतम अडानी ने यह कहा कि मार्केट के उथल पुथल के बीच हमें नैतिक रूप से यह सही नहीं लगा कि हम इस एफपीओ को कंटिन्यू करें, इसलिए बोर्ड ने यह फैसला किया है। इसके साथ साथ उन्होंने 2 अहम बातें कही। उन्होंने ये कहा कि इसका कोई असर हमारे ऑपरेशंस पर नहीं पड़ेगा और साथ में उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि हमारे बिजनेस प्लान फुली फंडेड हैं। इसके बाद 2 मार्च को एक बड़ी डेवलपमेंट होती है जब जीक्यूजी पार्टनर अदानी ग्रुप के अंदर $1.87 बिलियन का निवेश करता है और इसके बदले 8.2 मिलियन शेयर्स वो खरीदते हैं। अब यहां पर अगर आप देखेंगे तो मार्केट कैप 19,41,000 करोड़ रुपए से घटकर 8,51,000 करोड़ रुपए पर आ चुका है। यहां पर आप देखें 2 मार्च को। इसके बाद 2 मार्च को एक और डेवलपमेंट होती है जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट एक एक्सपर्ट कमेटी का पैनल गठित करता है और कहता है कि आप हिंडनबर्ग के आरोपों की जांच करें। इसके साथ साथ वो सेबी से भी कहता है कि आप अपने जो आपकी जांच चल रही है उसके आउटकम को हमें बताएं। इसके बाद 27 मार्च को सुप्रीम कोर्ट में एक और डेवलपमेंट होती है जब वो डीआरआई की तरफ से जो पिटीशंस फाइल होती हैं अदानी ग्रुप के सब्सिडरीज पर, उसे सुप्रीम कोर्ट डिसमिस करती है। 29 अप्रैल को सेबी सुप्रीम कोर्ट पहुंचती है और ये कहती है कि हमें जांच के लिए थोड़ा और समय चाहिए। 2 मई को इसका विरोध पिटिशनर्स की तरफ से किया जाता है कि सेबी को जांच के लिए और समय नहीं दिया जाना चाहिए। इसके बाद मई के महीने में तीसरे हफ्ते में सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पैनल ने अपनी रिपोर्ट को फाइल किया और ये कहा कि हमें कोई ठोस सबूत हिंडनबर्ग के आरोपों में नहीं मिले। हमने जो जांच की उसमें हमें ठोस सबूत नहीं मिले। इसके साथ साथ उन्होंने 2 बातें कही। उन्होंने ये कहा कि अदानी ग्रुप ने इन्वेस्टर्स का कॉन्फिडेंस रीस्टोर करने के लिए कई अहम कदम उठाए। साथ साथ उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि फॉरेन एंटिटीज ने इस बीच में शॉर्ट सेलिंग करके काफी पैसे कमाए हैं। 14 अगस्त को सेबी वापस सुप्रीम कोर्ट पहुंचती है और ये कहती है कि हमें जांच के लिए थोड़ा और समय चाहिए क्योंकि हमें विदेशों से भी जानकारी जांच के लिए मंगानी पड़ रही है और उसमें समय लग रहा है। 31 अगस्त को ओसीसीआरपी की तरफ से एक रिपोर्ट आती है अदानी ग्रुप के ऊपर जिसमें फिर से अदानी ग्रुप पर कुछ आरोप लगाए जाते हैं। 2 सितंबर को अदानी ग्रुप ओसीसीआरपी के आरोपों को रिजेक्ट करती है, कहती है कि ये आरोप सही नहीं है। इसके बाद कुछ आरोप और आते हैं और ग्रुप के ऊपर वो आरोप लगाए जाते हैं। कुछ खबरें भी आती हैं, फाइनेंशियल टाइम्स में कुछ खबरें आती हैं, लेकिन इसके साथ साथ आप अगर देखेंगे तो मार्केट कैप घटता जा रहा है और एक उतार चढ़ाव मार्केट कैप में एक तरह से दिख रहा है। 11 लाख करोड़ के आसपास का मार्केट कैप इस वक्त आपको दिख रहा है। फिर 24 नवंबर का दिन आता है और सुप्रीम कोर्ट दोनों पक्षों की सुनवाई के बाद अपने फैसले को रिजर्व रखती है। इसके साथ साथ सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अपना रुख भी इस दिन साफ कर दिया और यहां से ग्रुप के शेयरों में एक बार फिर से तेजी देखने को मिलती है और मार्केट कैप धीरे धीरे बढ़ता है। फिर 5 दिसंबर को यूएस गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से, अमेरिकी सरकार की तरफ से एक पॉजिटिव खबर आती है जब वो हिंडनबर्ग के लगाए गए आरोपों को इररिलेवेंट कहते हैं। जो अडानी ग्रुप के ऊपर आरोप हिंडनबर्ग ने लगाए थे उसे वो इररिलेवेंट बताते हैं। इसके बाद 26 दिसंबर को अडानी ग्रुप के प्रमोटर्स ने ये ऐलान किया कि वो अडानी ग्रीन के अंदर, जो उनकी सब्सिडरी कंपनी है, उसके अंदर 9,350 करोड़ रुपए का निवेश करेंगे। तो ये था पूरा सम अप साल 2023 में अडानी ग्रुप के लिए।
Well, moving on, veteran banker Uday Kotak shared his year-end musings on the financial markets in a post on social media platform X. For India to become a $30 trillion economy by 2047, Indian companies need to lean more towards capital markets for funding and reduce reliance on bank credit. That's essentially what Mr. Kotak had to say. He's former managing director and CEO of Kotak Mahindra Bank. Now, in a 7-point tweet on Friday, he also said that companies need to raise equity at lower cost of capital for productive use. While we must avoid tax arbitrage in debt, unless debt markets grow, it will be a one-legged race, Uday Kotak cautioned. Now, the current gap on highest marginal tax rate between debt and equity is 39% and 10%, and that's perhaps too wide. That's according to Mr. Kotak. He also said that double taxation on dividends needs a relook. Low-cost leverage through derivatives can distort financial markets, and that needs attention as well. Now, that's according to Mr. Kotak. Truly some interesting observations on India's financial markets and the way forward for them. That's all we have on the show for today. Do stay tuned to NDTV Profit.